I left you guys for a while because I wanted to see the fallout, and particularly of the Xbox brand's decisions and choices. Little did I know that Sony would go ahead and make things interesting themselves by pretty much announcing that, yeah, there will be a digital only platform starting in January of 2028. Now, people are, getting into hysterics about this online. The idea that, PlayStation will no longer be selling physical discs for their next platform, which will be a handheld that hooks up to a TV. I know there's a lot of people saying, well, they'll have a set top box and a handheld. I really think they go the Nintendo route and just make a handheld that's a hybrid. I don't think they make a set top box. I could be wrong. I'm not even going to say whether I hope I am right or wrong because it really doesn't matter at this point. The damn thing is going to be expensive one way or the other. More expensive than a console should be, right? Like the convenience of a console is under so many dollars. Ease of use as far as the GUI and the interface, basically plug and play. And if you've noticed, these consoles, and I use that term loosely, have become less and less convenient as generations are going on. They've resembled more the PCs that are their forefathers than anything. When's the last time you played a game after you just installed the disc? It's been generations because now you have to install the data on the disc even if you own the disc. Doesn't matter anymore. It's all, it's games have updates. No longer do you have a game that is what it is day one. Now every game has an update. Oftentimes a day zero or day one update because if you don't install it, the game doesn't even work. So was it done? It's gaming has changed fundamentally. Really since 2013, right? Before that, the 360 PS3, you didn't have to install every game. At least not on the 360. I think the PS3 it was kind of mandatory, but like now we're at this point where, yeah, man, these things are basically PCs, and I won't be mad at the Helix if Microsoft still is bringing that thing out. They're doing a hell of a lot of restructuring. We'll get into that in a minute. But I won't be mad at the Helix if it costs a lot because at least it's going to be a PC, right? Like at the end of the day, Xbox fanboys, PlayStation fanboys, whoever wants to deny that thing is going to A, be a PC, and B, not have an advantage is crazy because they're just not going to lie about the nature of this beast anymore, right? Consoles have always been closed, lower grade PCs, and Microsoft seems to be pulling that rubber band off and saying that to hell with it, this is what we are. We're selling you a PC that has a way easier front end for you to navigate than, having to deal with settings and things of that nature. At least that's idealistically what it could be. Now, realistically, they can end up putting something out there that's going to be a complete nightmare. But, let's pray for the best, plan for the worst. Speaking of the worst, Microsoft, and more specifically, since this is her task from the get-go, Asha Sharma has let go of somewhere around 3,200 employees over at Microsoft. I knew this was coming. They weren't making money. And the more that's come out about it, they weren't making the money. Let's put it this way. They weren't making the money that they needed to be making. And the more that's come out about it, the more it seems like Phil Spencer was running the company like a video game fan and not a businessman. And I truly think, he ended up leaving because he was like, yeah, this isn't as fun as I thought it would be. We own all these IPs. I'm buying my friends' companies and letting them make their passion projects. And these things are failing. I mean, with the exception of Starfield, all of the stuff that he purchased, and let Tim Schafer and and people at Arcane and people at Ninja Theory and all these other companies. He let them make all of these games, and in one of my last videos, I told you guys, like, Asha basically was like, I can't fund this shit anymore. I'm not gonna fund this stuff anymore. Like, we need to be making hits. We need to be pumping out bangers. We got whole franchises that are sitting here stagnant or don't have major releases. Like, I agree. Like, how do you have a Fallout show and no Fallout games? Right? Well, how do you have we had a Halo show a few years ago. Wasn't a great show, but there was no game to go with it. Like, this Halo game that's coming out now, that should have been out with that show. And I can't believe I'm saying this. It seems like she's trying to turn Xbox into PlayStation, which is something you guys wish for. You wanted exclusives. You want video game show tie-ins. You want them to be tighter and focus on only specific things. Well, this is what they're doing. This is the Xbox you asked for. They're not going to make those experimental AA small games anymore. The amount of variety in the Xbox ecosystem is going to shrink significantly. Because I don't know if you guys noticed this, but right now you're looking at fantasy games and first and third person shooters, and that's about it. There's nothing else, right? Like, from what I understand, Obsidian isn't even going to be allowed to make another Pillars of Eternity for a minute, and that was on the table. We're hearing about id, who had like a John Wick style game, some kind of a robot game, and a Perfect Dark pitch on the table. Those are gone. You know, it's been sliced in, from what I can understand, more than half, and are basically the size of a small support studio, which I'm guessing they're going to be backing up Machine Games. But this is what the Xbox guys wish for, you know, because they just didn't. The idea of sharing games with PlayStation wasn't good for them, and apparently the numbers say it wasn't. I've spoken to that before, that the numbers weren't great for it, but I also spoke to the fact, and I still stand by this, that the only way a lot of those studios were going to survive is if they were putting their games on multiple platforms. The moment that it went out the window, I knew this was going to happen. Right? You can't have a big company publishing something like Kiln and then not putting it everywhere, because Kiln wasn't going to make that much money anyway. But I also said that if anybody could figure this out, it will be Asha Sharma. And I think she's figuring it out. She didn't close these studios. She fired a bunch of people, which sucks. But she didn't close any studios. And she gave some of those studios their IPs back. I don't know if Arcane got all of their IPs back, but certainly Arcane has been able to search for their new ownership, or at the very least try and gain their independence. Now, Blade might be up in the air, but it hasn't been canceled. And I just want to speak to something real quick, because I told you guys years ago and months ago, even in more recent videos, that the game that Microsoft was convinced to purchase Activision for was that Elseworlds game. You see who didn't have anybody fired? They didn't touch Poland. Poland has not been affected, and this is where the Elseworlds studio is. Poland hasn't been affected by these layoffs or anything at all. I wonder why. I don't claim to know everything. I don't claim to be an insider, but I've told you guys several times, the game that I believe convinced Phil Spencer wholesale to go ahead and start talking up the purchase of Activision was this Elseworlds game. I don't have insider information on this. I don't know this to be a fact, but I have a feeling that even Asha Sharma, when she started trying to do cleanup, said, well, what about the team in Poland? And Matt Booty or whoever's got her ear said, no, don't touch that. Don't touch that. This may have saved Microsoft, and not necessarily Microsoft, because Microsoft doesn't need saving, the $1 trillion company. But this may have saved Xbox more than you know, right? Xbox, in this free state they had where, Phil Spencer was basically allowing his buddies to make their dream projects, full stop. They were spending ridiculous amounts of money with very poor results. And now you got this lady, Asha Sharma, coming in who's tightening things up. And a lot of people don't like it. I saw a video clip from King David where apparently there was a former Obsidian employee who, basically admitted their truth that they hated Microsoft. They never liked being there. They didn't even own an Xbox, yada, 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 so on and so forth. They were a quote-unquote shit company, and the Xbox was a shit console. And it's like, let me just put this out here. And King David, shout out to him, kind of said this himself. But I'm going to say this for any younger person that's listening to me. If you don't like working at a place, you should leave and find something better. Because one, it's not going to do anything but make you miserable on a personal scale. Two, and you should not take any money or anything from anybody that's making you miserable. Two, you as a human being are going to have a Freudian slip, and you're going to start talking crazy about that person or place in front of other people. And 9 times out of 10, this person got fired because they were running their damn mouth so much that word got out about it. And if you don't think Asha or other executives weren't going around saying, yo, who's disgruntled here? If you think those people weren't first on the list to get shit canned, well, I got something land in Florida to sell you. Like, that person as an adult, I don't think that, and I want to say they learned a valuable lesson, but I don't think they learned a damn thing. If you hated Microsoft and Xbox as a brand so bad, why are you taking a paycheck from them? Because sitting there taking a paycheck from them for months, if not even years, look where it's landed you. Now you got to find something else. And then you go on Blue Sky, which is where I think they went on. I'm not going to say this person's name because I don't want to sabotage them more than they've probably sabotaged themselves. Then you go on Blue Sky and make a post holding up a PlayStation copy of an Xbox game and denigrating that brand. It's a reason Mike Ybarra probably won't find another job in the games industry again, because every time Microsoft has gotten rid of him, he has gone out of his way to go on the internet and denigrate that brand. People don't understand, when you show your true colors like that, I don't care who the other company is, you look like someone that's easily disgruntled. You look like a potential traitor. That does not shine well on you. And that person is going to learn the hard way. I hope they find a job. I wish them luck with that. But that was stupid. I don't care how you feel about Microsoft. You were taking their money. Up until the day you were let go, you were taking their money. Every game you worked on, Avowed, Outer Worlds 1, I think they were holding up a copy of Outer Worlds 2 for PlayStation. Every game you worked on, that was Microsoft's money that was going into your bank account for you to work on that game. And this is not about, oh, you got to respect Microsoft. No, you could disrespect Microsoft all you want, but why would you take their money? You realize how that makes you look? Like, I sincerely hope that you do get another job in the industry if that's what you want. But good luck with that. Truly. Good luck with that. Because for you, like, it's so foolish. Why would you post that on the internet for all to see? Very foolish. I digress. Right? Kids, don't do that. If you don't want to be there, get yourself an exit strategy. Work there as long as you can until you find something else and get the hell out. I know plenty of people who have problems with how businesses ran, and they say, you know what, I don't like it here. I'm going to leave. But they don't sit there and take money and denigrate the company. Especially not in a foolish enough way a fool ass way where you're posting stuff on the internet. Because how is any other company gonna trust you? How's any other company gonna deal with you unless you starting your own company with that same money you took from Microsoft? Who's gonna hire you, knowing that you act like that? You think Sony's gonna hire you? I don't know if you know this, but they're firing people more than they're hiring people right now. They're in trouble. Very foolish. Again, all that aside, guys, this was inevitable. Phil Spencer was clearly not running things in a manner that was conducive to successful business. He kind of was just like getting his friends together to powwow about, things he think would be cool. And he made the mistake of listening to too many people's ideas and not saying, look, that's cool, but I need you to make this. Now Asha Sharma is like, yeah, we don't need that Avowed 2. Avowed didn't make money. I need y'all to work on the new Fallout. Yeah, we don't need to worry about Starfield. Starfield made money and that's okay. But we know that the real money is in Elder Scrolls. And PlayStation guys, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I hope you got a PC or you have a change of heart after this whole physical media thing, because you're not getting that game on PlayStation. If that game is coming out within the next 4 years, which is Asha Sharma's, there's her own self-imposed limit on turning Xbox into a successful brand, there's no way in hell that game's coming out on PlayStation. She's gonna keep that game, the next Doom, probably the next Fallout. I believe Quake was thrown in there, and Wolfenstein. She's gonna keep all those games on Xbox. Those games are not coming out on PlayStation. So if you're a fan of those franchises, it might be Jesus. I just thought about the price of the average PC nowadays, but it might be time to invest in something. I think the only thing you guys get in the Call of Duty, and after that 10-year agreement is up, you probably not even getting that anymore. If this lady has her way, she is a different animal, and I've said this before, and I hate to refer to anybody as an animal, especially people of color. Reasons, look it up. But she is a different kind of beast. She really is. She's on something else. And right now, it looks bad because of the people getting fired. And it looks bad because of the studios having to be sold into their independence, which really isn't bad. It's much better than being closed and gone forever, right? But I'm telling you right now, for better or for worse, Microsoft is going to be vastly different in the next few years. And I'm hoping it's for the better, because we need more than two choices out there. And I have a feeling it's going to be for the much better. Because now when I think about it, and I think I may leave you guys with this, it doesn't make sense for Phil Spencer to have had Obsidian and Ninja Theory and all of these studios since 2018, right? And then Bethesda since 2020 or 2019, and then Activision since 2023, and all we've gotten is what we've gotten, right? Like, from what I understand, Asha's even moved Obsidian off Grounded, right? She's like, okay, that's cool, it's making money, but why aren't y'all making Fallout? And apparently they immediately canceled Avowed 2 and a couple other projects they had and said, we need y'all making Fallout right now. So Obsidian's actually heading the new Fallout. And from what I last understood, that was really a Todd Howard thing, where Todd Howard didn't want anybody else touching Fallout. And Asha's probably going to him like, look, you already taking too damn long to make Elder Scrolls. I can't wait for you to get that done. We need to make money off these franchises now. The fact that we don't have a Fallout game out and we have a successful TV show, about this franchise, and there's no game to sell people to go along with the TV show, doesn't make any sense. And and she probably told him, you need to concentrate on Elder Scrolls. We're going to have Obsidian make a Fallout game because they've made one before anyway. And if it wasn't her necessarily pulling the strings on that, I guarantee you it was Matt Booty. I don't think Matt Booty likes a lot of stuff that Phil Spencer let his buddies, I hate to say it this way, but kind of get away with. I don't think Phil Spencer's a fan Matt Booty's a fan of a lot of it, which is why he's still there, right? This is a different Xbox, and it's a different PlayStation too. They're going to get safer also. And I know I've made videos about, wishful thinking, where's Twisted Metal, where's this, where's that. They're not going to make any of that stuff. It right now is just too damn dangerous to not make safe bets. So I ain't going to lie to you. More than likely what you'll see from PlayStation going forward is they're going to give somebody the Fallout game. I mean, not the Fallout game, Jesus. The Last of Us game. It may not be Naughty Dog, because apparently Naughty Dog is in way more trouble and proven to be way more costly than they seem to be worth. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be Naughty Dog that's making the next Uncharted. And I'm almost positive that they're going to find a studio to work with a splinter of Naughty Dog employees to make a new Last of Us for the next season that's coming, or at least around the next season that's coming. I don't think a lot of Sony's dormant franchises stay dormant for too long, at least none of their more recent ones. And also, I think Sony is going to make that PC launcher. I still believe that's coming. Like I said, this crash just means that things don't get much tighter. And you guys need to mentally prepare yourselves for that. Things are going to be different because they have to be. These companies aren't willing to take the same risk anymore, and they want money by any means necessary. So things are going to be different, man. Hate it, love it, maybe find a new hobby, but this is the reality we're in. Gaming is going to change forever, and next year are going to be the first true signs of that. 2027 is going to be a wild one. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.